Hello everybody, and welcome to a new series where we're going to be exploring the oceans of old school RuneScape. This series was inspired by the devs' offhanded comment of having an island designing competition. They're likely talking about art, but if they're not, boy do I got the design for you. And today we're going to be talking about my new island design, the Coral Crescent Reef. If you have any awesome island designs, leave them down in the comments because we're totally going to be doing a whole bunch of these. But let's get into it. What is the Coral Crescent Reef? I would call Fossil Island a large island, so Coral Reef is a medium-sized island, and it's in the crescent shape with a large coral reef around it. Very nice and colorful. When docking in the center of the crescent, you're going to see the Research Center. This is an offshoot of the Varrock's Research Center. They're also studying out here. They're studying the coral and the mermaids' effect on the underwater ecosystem. Looking around, you're going to see a bunch of trees. This is a tropical island after all, but these trees are going to be coconut palms, where you can actually just pick the coconuts right off of them, along with a couple of hardwood trees scattered around, like teak, mahogany, and maybe a small version of a redwood tree, or maybe any specialty trees that might be introduced for the sailing skill. The unique thing about this island is there's no hostile NPCs on the surface, but since there's no hostile creatures on the land, we have them in the water. Watch out for a new fightable version of a shark, which obviously drops a shark every single time. You're going to be fighting many lobstrosities scattered around in the underwater field, and off on the very edge of the coral reef, you're going to see an underwater cave, the Kraken Cove, and around this cove there's a bunch of littler krakens that you're able to fight as well. The waters are dangerous around these parts, but on the land it's just basically hunter training mobs, so you're going to see plenty of different tropical birds that you'll be able to catch, little creatures like monkeys, lizards, and snakes that you could catch, or maybe even some butterflies floating around. It should be a pretty cool place to train Hunter, especially if it could extend to some of the new Hunter contracts. But Hunter is not the only thing that you're going to be able to train here. Mining, crafting, fishing, farming, and Hunter. There's going to be plenty of fish spots all around the island where you'd be able to fish lobsters, swordfish, sharks. But when we go diving in the water, you're going to be able to drift net fish. There's going to be some special drift net fish this time, with 3 new fish introduced: the coral trout, parrotfish, and luminescent jellyfish. The coral trout is going to have coral on it, which you can chisel right off of it. You can cook the fish for food and use the coral for later in crafting recipes. The parrotfish is actually going to be plucked and cooked for a new pie that gives you a sailing boost. And the luminescent jellyfish, well, we're definitely going to just be turning that into jelly, and it's going to be a replacement for karambwans as a food for tick eating. It'll be the same amount of health, and who knows, it might even have a higher fishing requirement too. Obviously, you're going to need your scuba gear to get underwater, but while you're underwater, we're going to be mining coral. This coral can be used in different crafting recipes to make coral armor, making your breath last longer, and it'd be a very lightweight armor, so it won't weigh you down underwater. Not only that, you can crush up coral into little bits and make a brand new potion. The water breathing potion, something that's going to be very necessary if we're going to do any amount of scuba steving around. So we've talked about mining, and you're going to get crafting experience from chiseling away coral. We've talked about fishing. What about farming? It's kind of going to be like a farming run around the reef. You're going to be planting different corals in a bunch of different spots all the way around the coral reef. This could be a way to ensure you could make massive mining experience so long as you think ahead, because there could just be a few corals to mine if you don't replant. So I think we've got a pretty good layout of the environment, but why the heck is the research center there? We're actually going to be talking to the lead researcher, and they're going to lead us on a quest to learn about the mermaids in depth. We need to know more about their society, ecosystem, and how they're really just living in the ocean. And if we need any underwater supplies or tools, a shop is in the camp. So we're sent to go talk to one of 2 mermaids we're going to find around the island, protecting the coral reef. When you go up to Narita the mermaid, you're going to ask her pretty much every personal question you can find, like what's your blood type, but she's going to ask you for a little bit of help in return. Her sister has been captured by the Kraken. The Kraken within the cove just off of the coral reef. It'll be a simple quest. Go in, kill the Kraken, save her sister, and then you get all the information that you need for the Varrock Research Center. If you're missing any kudos, this could be a massive boost of them, or it could be an extension of the kudos system. Who knows how many kudos you could have in the future. But everybody's seen the Kraken before, so what's so different about this one? Well, let me introduce you to King Kraken. King Kraken is an enhanced version of the Kraken that's going to be orange and angry. The fight will have plenty of new mechanics like summoning smaller Krakens and creating whirlpools to suck you into where the Kraken's at. Oh, and by the way, the entire environment is either underwater or completely flooded with water. You don't get that little bridge to fight the King Kraken this time. Once you defeat the King Kraken and complete your quest, you're going to get a significant amount of mining, crafting, fishing, farming, and hunter experience, because that's what you can get on the island, along with a coral amulet. An amulet that provides XP bonuses for underwater activities like coral mining and farming. It could even enhance your swimming speed if we have the ability to do that in the engine. Or if we don't, that could just mean you're always sprinting underwater, so there's no energy drain. And another really fancy thing that I thought would be cool, there's no longer a limit to how many mermaid tiers you can have, since you just did a mermaid quest. But one more bonus you're going to get from rescuing Narina's sister is she's going to find you more treasure more often when you're doing the underwater activities around the island, such as caskets, mermaid tears, and clues showing up more often when you're doing mining, farming, and fishing underwater activity. And of course, the King Kraken is going to be a refightable boss that you'll be able to fight over and over. But what would you be able to get from it? Kraken tentacles, that's obviously easy W, but the coral crown to go with the coral amulet that we just got, and the coral armor that we're able to make to complete the set. But this coral crown could be a unique headgear offering more XP bonuses for the underwater activities, stacking with the coral amulet, but this could also mean that diving gear is no longer required. Somehow the coral crown lets you breathe underwater. And what would a boss be if there wasn't an ancient artifact teleport tablet? So whenever you get that teleport tablet, you're able to teleport right to the King Kraken's lair. I do want to point out that the island design competition probably would be a simple island of like, this is brown, a mountain, and it has a couple of sand crabs. But that would be such a boring series. So, leave it down below if you got a couple of good island ideas, and that's going to be it for me today. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Don't forget to like, comment, or subscribe, and we'll see you all later.